What's going on today, family? How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. You got your boy Don Nichols from Felon to Felon, President and CEO of Felon to Felon Inc., where we help you guys get your career paths, make money, and aim for success. We make you guys into providers. You might have had a challenge and you need to get some tips on how to navigate the world with this felony. That's what we're all about. Today's video is for job seekers, packed with a lot of information. The way this video is set up, it's an educational video for you just to sit back, take in the information and listen to it. I'm going to lay everything out. You don't have to do any work, although there is a couple of um, exercises in the video that I'll be going over that you guys should participate with for the success, to maximize the success of this video. I'm going to get you guys into a good job. I want to get you guys focused. I want to get you guys career driven. My videos are based upon the mindset. I'm going to get you guys the right mindset that they want you to have out here to be successful and to thrive with a felony. Make this felony is going to make you rich. I want to make this felony to lead to your success. So without any more talking and all of this gibberish, I'm just going to go ahead, give you guys the information. You can sit this video down, listen to it while you're on the bus before you go to bed. Just let the information soak in and try to change your way of thinking and your mindset. Let's get to it. Being responsible, truthful, and trustworthy. These are the qualities that we're going to try to put in you and instill in you in this video. Truth is the glue of any close relationship. Taking responsibility and being truthful will go a long way to establishing trust among those who will become your lifelines to success. Truth, truth, truth. You don't want to, and I don't want to mess with anybody who doesn't tell the truth. Three of the most challenging aspects of re-entry are: one, taking responsibility for our past; dos, telling the truth about your background and perspective to the prospective employers; three, building trust between you and others. Since you are responsible for shaping your future, you must begin by being truthful to yourself and taking responsibility for your actions. Only then can you begin building the necessary truth that is so important for developing and maintaining long-term supportive relationships. Taking responsibility for choices. The first step to changing your life is to admit responsibility for your own situation. Life doesn't just happen or fall out of the sky. That doesn't mean that you won't encounter many injustices in life, such as bullying, discrimination, and harassment. Not everyone will love us. You make choices. We all do. Have consequences. We all have. Some people have lots of bad choices. They've made lots of bad choices that result in difficult situations. Others tend to have more than their share of bad luck. Let's look at some of our choices and consequences. This is the exercise part that I was telling us about that we just can do mentally. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it verbally. You can do it mentally. What five bad and five good choices have we made during the past 10 years? On one side, we list the bad choices. On the other side, right, bad choices, then the consequence of it, five of them, and then good choices, then the consequences of it. So I'll start it off. Man, over the last 10 years, this stuff is real. This is how we're going to build the mindset that we need for success. So just bear with me. A relationship that I had, the consequence was me getting locked up and me, being locked up, what comes with that. Another bad choice was me not surrounding myself with successful, business savvy, financial literate people. The consequences of it was that I was misguided, mismanaged in some financial avenues of my life. A bad choice, me not going to church more, me not coming to Christ. Consequences of it, I lived a tough life. A lot of bad things happened. I didn't have the morals. I didn't have that grounding. I didn't have that 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 cornerstone to build off of. So I made poor choices. Another one, I think that was three. Another one would be, for me, would be something along the lines of me just with my child. Okay, with my kids, I didn't I had a child with a baby mama, and I didn't get a pregnancy test, and I ended up taking responsibility for a child that wasn't mine. That was the consequence of that. Last but not least, um, just just not paying attention in life, not paying attention enough in life to people's comments, what people were saying, gestures, actions, and just giving people too much credit, and it led to false hope, false misdirection about certain people and aspects of their life. Now on the other side, we'll list good choices and then the consequences. Good choices I made was I was money savvy. I learned how to invest and save money early in life, so it led to me having property. So when I faced my hardship with getting locked up or being put on house arrest, I was still receiving some money, even though I had nobody to manage my property for me. Nobody, didn't set myself up around people that knew how to handle business. So when I went through my hardship, it was even more hard because I had nobody to really help me out in that, if that makes sense. Another good choice that I made was um, going to work every day. So I went to work every day. I was able to have a saving money for when the hard times came. Another good choice I made was just not getting behind on a lot of my bills. So when the bad times came, I wasn't behind already. I was able to sustain. Another good choice that I made would be taking care of my health. So I was able to, I think that to be healthy. Think that to be good. So just having good health and being able to maintain good health and allow other people to see that, I think that was good. So those would be my good and bad choices that I've made over the last 10 years. And I would like you to just be truthful with yourself. I was very truthful right there with you guys. I don't know you guys, but I was truthful about those decisions. And that's the first step in what we're doing, um, this process of being responsible, truthful, and trustworthy. Once we make responsibility, Once we take responsibility for our choices, you can begin discarding some baggage that may continue to weigh you down. Since you have the power within you to change your life, you need to become better acquainted with your ability to create your future. It won't be easy, but nothing worthwhile as ever is. You have to work at it day after day until new attitudes and actions become positive and produce behaviors. So I had to work towards getting on here and trying to help and support other people. I had to work towards overcoming not being able to read, not being able to speak, to feel comfortable on screen and be able to give myself to you guys. I had to feel comfortable and overdo that. And each day, day in and day out, as I work towards that, I become more comfortable. The more comfortable I become, the more I can become and be seen comfortable by you guys. The more I can be seen comfortable by you guys, the more help that I can give into the world. If that makes sense to you guys. So this is a day in, day out thing, working on our attitudes and our actions to become positive and and produce productive behaviors. Maybe you or I had bad luck, but so have many other successful people. Start by asking ourselves these questions. Do we have dreams that motivate us to do our best? Do we run with winners or hang with losers? What have we done to change our luck? Do we have goals and detailed plans of action for taking charge of our life? Be truthful with ourselves too. Do many people have us truthfully told our story, um, and ask for their advice on how we can change our lives? How many people have we been truthful with about who we are and that we're struggling with getting to where we want to be, and ask for that help and really let them know what areas we need help in? We have to be truthful to do these things. When tomorrow comes, another question. What 5 things do we have to do? Do we have on our to-do list? And that will help us get ahead. So these are just questions that we can ask ourselves just to get a perspective of where we are and where we stand in the list of things that we need to do to catapult us to the next level. Will we call 2 or 3 employers to see if they have job opportunities? Are we truthful? Are we truly going to seek out a job? Have we used to our best ability both pre and post release entry resources, from educational programs to our probation and parole officers? Are we being truthful about the things that we are claiming are bad luck? We're saying they're bad luck, but are they truly bad luck, or is there something that we aren't doing that we need to be truthful about so that we can overcome the whatever it is? My point here is very simple. If you do anything to get ahead, you'll get nothing. If you don't do anything, if you do nothing, if we do nothing to get ahead, we get nothing in return. Indeed, people who don't take responsibility for themselves most likely become a victim of circumstances. We need to develop a positive and productive attitude that constantly puts us in new places and with resources and intelligent people who can assist us. In other words, run with winners. I'm preaching. When I'm preaching and I'm teaching, I'm also preaching and teaching to myself. Run with winners. That's for me. Run with winners. And I would have never been in a position letting myself be influenced by filth, by people who didn't have things that I had. The influence that we all take the word influencer lightly. We see them on YouTube. We might don't really think about what it means to be an influencer, because we just think that it's tied to Hollywood and popular people. But people and things influence us. Even if we big bold men, we are easily influenced. Ever seen a pair of shoes on someone else's feet? Wanted that? Ever seen a raw BMW Benz somebody drive past and you wanted that? The new Tesla? Ever seen somebody post a new house in their backyard barbecuing and you wanted to do that? We are easily influenced without even being noticing that we're influenced. So we need to notice our friends that we hang with beating a girl, smoking, driving, in gangs, cussing around their kids, smoking around their kids. Lord have mercy, spending all their money on Jordans, going sneaking, getting guns, riding, going out to the club. These things that we see other people do influence us, and we also are influences. Ever turn somebody out? Are you a punk? You need to ride with us. Now you got this young man smoking and banging with you. You've influenced this guy in a certain area. We need to be truthful and know what we're doing. Telling the truth. Who are you? Few people know how to effectively talk about themselves. Indeed, they are more comfortable talking about others than discussing their own strengths and weaknesses. Nevertheless, you will need to talk about yourself to employers who are interested in learning about your background, interests, skills, goals, ability to perform a job, and your truthworthiness. One of the first and most important questions employers ask candidates, or concerns they express in a statement, is one you need to constantly prepare yourself to prior to entering. You need to prepare yourself for prior to re-entering or entering the job market. Is tell me about yourself. This is what we get uneasy. We start sweating. We don't find the right words to say. Tell me about yourself. Be careful. This could be a killer question that quickly ends your candidacy. What he or she is really asking is a two-part question. What is the first part? What is it you can do for me? And the second part is, why should I hire you? What is it you can do for me? What can you do for me? And why should I have allowed you to do it? What can you do for me? And then why should I let you do that? This opening statement and related question may well be the most important part of the job interview. How you deal with them may set the tone for the remainder of the interview and determine whether or not you will be offered the job. Since we know first impressions count the most, your response to this statement will give the interviewer one of the most important impressions of the interview. So take this opening statement very serious and put your best foot forward in revealing the truth about you and the prospective employer. This open-ended question can be answered many different ways. Since employers need to read between the lines for clues about strangers they could possibly hire, how you answer this question can be very revealing of your background, motivation, behaviors, character, and goals. If it may leave a lasting impression about who you are and what you are prepared to do for the employer. Be very careful about the information you volunteer about yourself in this early stage of the hiring game, including any dark side. Here are some alternative ways of responding to this tricky statement. One, reveal the frank truth about yourself. Tell the whole truth, including many negative things about your background, which includes your criminal background and incarceration. This is what I call the whoa moment, or talking too much for your own good. Talking too much for your own good. Oh, wait. There are some alternative ways of responding to this tricky statement. Okay, so it says, reveal the frank truth about yourself. And they call that the whoa moment, or talking too much for your own good. Why would they call it the talking too much for your own good? Well, let's look at number two. Tell a big in the moment lie. Talk big by making up a nice story. However, false, that might impress an inexperienced. I'm looking at this. Be careful about the information you volunteer about yourself in this early stage of the hiring game, including any dark side. Here are some alternative ways of responding to this tricky statement. I don't see here, and bear with me, I'm getting in the nitty gritty, but we're in this together. What they talking about? Tell a big tell a big in the moment lie. I would never be lying. It says talk big by making up a nice story. However, false, that might impress the inexperienced and naive listener who hopefully fails to do a background check or due diligence on you. This is a risky way to live. Perhaps you're the sociopath next door. You will eventually screw up and reveal the whole truth. So I don't think that I would be lying. And so let's look more into this and see where they're going with this, and then we'll conduct ourselves accordingly. Avoid the issue. That's number three. Avoid volunteering information and talking about yourself by skirting around and redirecting the question with another question. Okay, so we do that. We get nervous and we don't answer what a person is asking us. Instead, we go off and talk about something irrelevant instead of being straightforward and answering a person when they ask us something. There's not much I can tell you is some of the things that they're saying we might say. Could we come back to that later? I guess that's um, is there anything in particular you would like to know? This works for positioning issues for a while, but the cleverness of such responses wears off quickly. I want to find out where they're going with these. Focus only on personal milestones and statistics. Number four, reveals dates and place of birth, education, background, material status, health, and names and previous employers. The prisoner of war response, saying nothing about a history of outcomes or patterns of performance at doing work in the real world. A proper approach, but not particularly interesting. All right. Well, I know you're hearing this. Emphasize number five, key skills and accomplishments. talks about those things of most interest to the employer, what you can do for him or her in the future, including a list of specific accomplishments with projected statistics and document performances. Okay, the first four responses, now we get into the nitty gritty. The first four responses are problematic indeed. Many candidates choose the first response and thus ramble on about their spotty backgrounds and dark side. As confessors, they talk too much about personal things that may be irrelevant to the job in question. In fact, most of what they have to say is of little interest to employers, except when they volunteer their weaknesses and negatives. When they do this, they raise red flags and can knock them off of future competition. Many ex-offenders should avoid this issue altogether, since telling the whole truth and revealing their dark side, most people have them, may eliminate them from consideration. So I don't know why it set this up like that, but we definitely want to go into the interview being truthful, and we definitely don't want to be rambling. And we believe that being transparent with an employer, only volunteering information that they request. So basically, this is saying don't go in there telling your life story if it has nothing to do with the job. If you have had got locked up for stealing cars and you're there for maybe to be a mechanic, maybe you can say, yeah, when I used to steal cars, I used to see that the peeled up neck function of the car was vulnerable, and since I knew how to break it, I actually know how to put it together. So, but if it has nothing to do pertaining to that job, then don't disclose any information other than what they ask us. Okay, so we got to really read through this stuff, and I don't want to give you guys wrong information. That's why I want to break this stuff down, and that's why I appreciate you guys sticking around. Hit the thumbs up button. I hope you're enjoying the video. I hope you're getting educated and enlightened, and I hope that the mindset is starting to sink in. How to do this, how to what we're supposed to be doing, what this looks like, educating people, talking, being transparent with one another. This is the behavior, what I'm doing, how I'm teaching you guys. This is what we are to do. We are to learn, and then we're to teach one another what we've learned so that we all can grow together. But the truth are, you are trying to tell an employer you are being unfair to both yourself and potential employers when you try to deal with the truth. Here's the truth about the truth. While employers want you to tell them the truth, they do not want to hear the frank and whole truth about your personal history. Talking too much, rambling, like, they're not just psychologists. Remember, they are interested in the possibility, possibly hiring people. What it is they are hiring, that's what they're interested in, your background. As an ex-offender, no, they are hiring your skills, not your background, or probably ability of performance. That's what they care about. Those things can do for them, those things we can do for them, produce positive outcomes for their company and organization. How you answer this and other important questions may reveal your attitude, motivations, and goals that may or may not be capable with those of the company. So, a more detailed examination of your skills and performances based on background check, tests, and situations, interviews, and we'll look at that later in another video page, should give the employer some idea to how well you can actually do the job. All right, man. So basically, we getting that red flags in your background. If you guys have red flags, if you ever have been fired for the following high risk behaviors, you have red flags on your background, which may knock you out of consideration for a job if the employer learns about them from your references and your background checks. Absence, tardies, broke rules, insubordinate, lying, stealing, uncooperative. Okay, so respond to the following statements to determine how not so hot to the not so hot your background may be. Circle, just mentally understand this. So we know about our background, but I guess they want us to be truthful, and this is a way to produce truthfulness in yourself. So I'm going to read off some things, and then in your mind you would say strongly agree, agree, maybe, not certain, disagree, or strongly agree. Okay, do you have little work experience? Do you work do your work experience, do you have work experience, but it's doing things you really don't want to do? Be truthful. This just for us to answer and be truthful with ourselves. So bear with me. My grades in school were not very good. Agree, disagree, strongly agree. Just being truthful if these things apply to you. I have a high school diploma. I did not go to college. I have been fired from a job. I have been fired from more than one job. I don't have a past employer. I have been a convicted felon. I have a learning disability. I experienced material problems. I abused drugs. I experienced mental health. If an employer knew much about my employment background, he probably wouldn't hire me. Yada, yada, yada. If we circled, if we said strongly agree or strongly disagree, or however we was truthful with ourselves, these things may raise red flags. If we are truthful with ourselves, then we need to develop job search strategies to overcome our job market weaknesses. The first thing we need to do in detailing the red flags is to identify and acknowledge them as potential job knockoffs. Denying them or making excuses will not help us. We need to be straightforward with ourselves. Once we identify the red flags, then we can go to the next step and to develop strategies for turning them around. So, what questions might an employer ask about my background? What could raise red flags about my fitness for the job? So, we just talked about that. And these are just questions to write down and ask yourself to be truthful with ourselves. What five things about my background could knock me out of the consideration for a job? What potential red flag behaviors might I need to re-examine and take greater responsibility for the future? What positive actions have I taken to change the negative behaviors that raise red flags? Why would someone want to hire me? And what are my best work considerations? Oh, excuse me, I'm looking at my phone ring. So, um, those are just questions that we want to ask ourselves. And again, we want to be truthful with ourselves. If you made it this far in the video, give yourself a round of applause. I thank you for bearing with me. I know this is educational videos are not the best and most interesting thing that we want to do, but with our time, we need to be advancing our skills and overcoming, building strategies so that we can go further in life. And you coming to this video and just listening to this video and partaking in this educational lecture was one of the first steps into becoming beneficial and productive in life and educating, evolving yourself into a better person. And I commend you on that, on your journey. I'm going to continue to put out these educational videos. I'm going to continue to do these things. And I know you guys always see my LeBron James in the background, but that's just my support. He's my support group. I look up to him. I would recommend anybody to get them a role model, somebody that you look up to, and just to have somebody to look up to. If you don't have a dad or a pastor that's can be the head of your life, you always look up to God, and Jesus Christ. But if you don't, you can always seek out you a role model, somebody that you look up to. So that's why LeBron James is back there, and he's back there because he's a person that I look up to and I respect. Now here go a couple of tips, and then I'm gonna I'm going to let you guys go. Please give me a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. It helps you guys know when I'm putting out new content, and all of my content is educational, so it helps you guys grow. A couple of tips to help you guys along your way. Tip number one: uh, if you can't get a stimulus check if you've been in prison, that was just a tip for that's an old tip. Um, let's see what we got. It's okay. It's particularly impossible to find employment after being incarcerated. False. That's a false tip. You can definitely be employed after being in jail or prison. Though finding employment will be challenging during the pandemic, employers in Illinois chose to not to hire you, but cannot ask to see your criminal record until you have been deemed qualified for the job. They also need your permission to do so. So this is employers in Illinois can choose not to hire you, but cannot ask to see your criminal record until you have been deemed qualified for the job. All right. Okay. You will be responsible for purchasing all medication you take upon release. And this is anybody that was just getting out of jail, or if you know somebody that's about to get up out of prison or jail. While it is true that you will not you will be responsible for your medication, prison offer a limited supply of medication upon release, ranging up to 30 and 90 days. You can prepare for your release by getting medication ready and requesting physical, dental, and eye exams upon release. Anybody getting out of prison. Another myth: you can't get financial aid for college if you have been incarcerated. Most financial aid is available to students on parole or probation. For more information about the different kinds of training and higher education programs available, we'll talk about that in another video, and I'll give you guys a link to go and check that stuff out. You can't get a bank account. That's another myth. If you have been incarcerated, and we all know that's a lie, you can open a bank account regardless of your legal history. You still have to meet the guidelines for opening a certain bank account, such as minimum deposit, but you can definitely do it. Those are just a couple of tips. I like to give tips at the end of my videos. I try to talk fast because I know the video is already lengthy, and I know educational videos. Let me know if you think I should put some music with the video. Let me know if I need more energy in the video. Let me know what you think about the video in the comments below. Please hit the like button. We're going to be making more videos, and the next video that's coming out will be, and you guys can look out for, the next video is seeking and becoming wait a minute, let me just make sure. Examine and change your attitude. That'll be, wait a minute, did we already do that one? This Okay, so we got a lot of videos coming up, you guys, on my list of videos to make. But select appropriate job search approaches. Select appropriate job search approaches. And in that video, we'll talk about becoming a self-reliant job seeker, the best job search methods, respond to job listings, use the internet, contact employers directly, requesting employment agencies and placement services, attending job fairs, networking with family and friends, which is number one, and the use of our time wisely. So without further ado, because it's really heated, love you guys. God bless you guys. Check out Felon2felon Inc. for anything felon related and for anything felon related. If you need any help, if you need any coaching, if you need any mentoring, check us out. All right, until we meet again, God bless and stay focused. Get money.